The lilting sound of Rose's well-worn pleasantries shadowed my snail-paced progress. Glancing over my shoulder, I noticed a golden head, taller than most of the men. No doubt she'd spotted me. I loved Rose dearly, but ever since her marriage last season, she'd seemed to take my lack of a husband as a personal affront and make it her business to graft a match. My heart leaped into my throat. I redoubled my efforts to escape. Rose danced through the crowd like a royal dance master. Men and women alike melted away from her winning smile to let her pass. That ability would be handy just about now. Unfortunately, it wasn't one I'd inherited. Invisibility seemed to be my talent. Clearing my throat sometimes couldn't budge a group. The man rooted in my path seemed resolute to ignore me. I didn't recognize him from his dusky jacket or the back of his brown-haired head. Then again, I just described half the men of the ton. "Excuse me," I shouted above the chatter to ensure he heard. "Would you mind moving a step to your left, sir? I'd love to pass through." The man turned. Although not the tallest man in the room, he loomed over me. My neck ached from craning it back to examine his face. A frown turned down the pleasing curve of his mouth. His earthy eyes narrowed as he examined me from beneath heavy brows. His hair was swept almost carelessly over his narrow forehead, no doubt a cultivated look, one paired with fashionably groomed side whiskers. Curiously enough, his evening wear was at least 3 years old, if I recalled the fashions correctly. I didn't recognize him, considering I all but lived at balls during the past 5 seasons. I'd thought to have met all the men in London. Apparently not. His frown eased, replaced by the curious lift of one corner of his mouth. "I don't believe it. You haven't changed a bit." I peered over my shoulder, trying to gauge the swiftly diminishing distance between Rose and myself. Absently, I answered, "I believe you've mistaken me for someone else. If you'll excuse me." I dipped into a curtsy, prompting him to incline his head. Sometimes I adored the stiff etiquette dictating the ton's every move. With his attention directed elsewhere, I dashed around him. The crowd thinned, but not enough for me to gain freedom. Behind the stranger loomed others, most I'd met, but some faces I didn't recognize. Many likely returned from war this season, now that Napoleon had been exiled to Elba. The crowd to my rear parted enough for a sliver of my friend's svelte form to peek through. Her periwinkle blue eyes narrowed with determination as she spotted me. No doubt she suspected I'd been evading her. In an instant, her aggressive expression withered, replaced by a broad smile baring her upper gums. Her genuine smile. Her beady gaze measured the 2 groups yet between us, as though she contemplated how best to wage war against this last obstacle. Behind her, Mother elbowed through the crowd. I turned away. Could my luck get any worse? The hounds of hell nipped at my heels this evening. A familiar voice wheedled its way past my panicked mind. A woman harped loudly about the objectification of women through dance, no doubt in response to an invitation to join the next set. My knees weakened in relief. Mary. I lunged toward the sound. In an ungraceful display of snarled limbs, I latched onto Mary's arm and steered her away from the baffled and belittled suitor. "Quick! I need your help." Mary's mouth puckered. Her eyes narrowed behind her spectacles. She brushed an errant lock of black hair from her forehead. "How can I help?" I loved Mary just as dearly as Rose, but my friends acted like 2 guardian angels perched upon either shoulder, each steering me down a different path, neither path a particularly pious one. Guilt flushed my cheeks as I muttered, "Rose is trying to convince me to marry some womanizing old lord." For all I knew, it might be true. Still, the moment Mary's eyebrows knit together in outrage, I inwardly winced. "Forgive me, Rose." That expression never meant well for any men in the vicinity. Mary might be small, only an inch taller than me, and slimmer, since she often forgot to eat, but her sharp tongue, when it came to her zany ideas about women's freedom, was legendary, and liberally used. If Rose advocated for marriage, Mary firmly believed no woman should give herself to a man like a common possession. Mary glided forward, jostling me into the animated crowd. I stumbled between 2 young paramours and dashed for the terrace doors. Behind me, the crowd's chattering nearly devoured Mary's characteristically sharp voice.